Guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly Q&A&T. This is season 4, episode 11. Getting into the first comment that we're going to address here. This comes from Control C, and they say, just don't listen to the haters, bros.
Which was nice, actually.
Yeah.
I appreciate the sentiment. We both appreciate the sentiment. It's nice to see support from a commenter and a viewer.
And I mean, I think what's important is that we don't get much negativity at all, which
Yep.
we're lucky for. And the stuff that we do get is usually pretty easy to dismiss.
It's relatively benign.
Yeah, it's
But
usually seems misdirected more than anything, honestly.
but I also, part of me, and I get it, there's a lot of negativity, but part of me feels an obligation to at least address it even a little bit. Because alright, so the common advice is always, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names,
But words will never hurt me.
something like that. So
No, I'm pretty sure it is that.
okay, so listen, I guess the issue I have is it's common advice. I don't know if it's necessarily true, because here's the thing: when people, if we just stay quiet about it and we feel like we're ignoring it, but that's not necessarily what happens, right? Because if everybody stays quiet, the troll or the bully or the sexist or the racist gets to imagine a world where people are agreeing with him quietly, and when they're not challenged on it even a little bit, then in some ways, in my mind at least, it feels like it's gonna encourage it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely there's a certain amount of engagement that you need to give them, and it's very, very little, but sometimes I think it is important to just say, hey, I don't actually agree with this, and I don't think it's a good thing to say. And
Yeah.
it's just, the chances that they'll listen or anything productive will come of it isn't necessarily high, but it's maybe important for other people too, to just know where you stand on stuff, and know that people stand against that person.
Right, because sometimes the responses aren't for them. The responses are for everybody else who might be reading.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I guess the thinking's maybe changed a little bit in the last 20 years, maybe more than that, because it used to be pretty common advice, right? Just to say, just ignore them, leave them be.
Yeah.
But then what we see, and I don't want to really tie it into something national or anything, but it feels like, especially because we are in North America, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the discourse has gotten so polarized.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, listen, I think the point you made right at the beginning was really good, is that part of the reason why we still do this, even though the ad revenue is down, views are down and stuff, is that we get to actually meet and interact with a lot of interesting people.
Yeah, and I think like 99% of the people who click over to our content seem to be really kind of like decent people.
Right.
No issues, nothing.
Right.
So every once in a while when something comes up, it's worth talking about it, because it's not like it happens enough that it's actually an issue that we find is affecting us in any way.
Okay, but here's the thing too, right? Because we come from, in a lot of ways, a position of privilege.
Yeah.
We're clearly guys. When we see other YouTubers who are women deal with some of the crap, I feel it feels really crappy. I don't want to. We're keeping it kind of PG, but
Yeah.
I figured that if we can do even something to it, whether just acknowledge it or just to say, hey, it's not cool, I think it's worth doing.
Yeah, sometimes it's just important to let everybody know where you stand on an issue if it's important to you.
Yeah.
That's what it is at the end of the day. There's
Yeah, but-
stuff that's important to us and stuff that's not, and so if somebody's being crappy in a way that we don't think is okay, we're more likely to point it out.
Right. So thanks for the support, Control C, and thanks to everybody else who's watching.
Yeah, so there we go. Our next question comes from Wade C, and they say, I know this is a bit off topic, but do you guys play Injustice or Injustice 2 on console or any other console games? If you do, who between you is the better player if you were to play against each other?
Oh, absolutely no contest. So, not. Like, I don't play any... I shouldn't say I don't play any. I hardly ever play console games. I don't even play computer games. And the key, I think, to being good is, besides knowing the game, which is important in Injustice, but when you're playing a console game, it has everything to do with the interface.
Yeah, and I play a bunch of games. I play them on my computer. I've got a PC that I put together. And so, like, I play some of the kind of console-y games. Right now I'm playing through...
you played Legend of Zelda
Breath of the Wild, yeah, I've got a Switch and all that. But mostly it's just some like smaller like indie stuff with like friends and stuff like that. But
okay,
if one of us is better at games, it's me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I'm thinking back. The last time I actually played a game and put any kind of time into it was GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64, and I got pretty good at that. But it was because you have to put in the time to learn the controls, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you play games like Soul Calibur too.
Oh,
like a lot of Soul Calibur fighting games. You could totally beat the crap out of me.
We're talking Sega, right? And Sega console, not Sega just software. So the Dreamcast, oh my god, that was such a good game. Soul Calibur to me was the pinnacle of a game. Even though the graphics weren't as good, the way the responsiveness of the fighting mechanism, Mitsurugi and Kilik.
Yeah. So I think if we're just talking about it in that way, if we think about fighting games, it's because I don't actually play a lot of like fighting games. Maybe you still have me beat on that because you've got Soul Calibur under your belt really well, and I don't think I have anything.
And I guess Injustice is closest to that, right? But it's just got a lot more moves and a lot more combos.
So me probably in general, but for the closest Injustice equivalent, I think you'd probably have me beat in the thing that we'd be on approximately like kind of equal footing on, that we both at least played some.
Gosh, it's making me feel nostalgic for GoldenEye. Yeah, all right, thanks for asking, Wade.
Yeah. Our next question comes from Rémi Westercamp, and they say, "Hello, BDCKR. Can you help me? Because I have been banned, and I didn't do any glitches or buy lots of money. I only had 1 million by myself. What should I do?"
So, we already answered this in the comments, but after I was typing the answer, I thought this was worth expanding on a bit, right? So, there's the whole, I think it's called a just world paradigm, where your perspective on the world is that things should happen for a reason. And so, you know, bad people get punished, good people get rewarded. That's what I mean by just world, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like it should matter whether someone does a bad thing that deserves a bad consequence, like getting their account suspended.
Yeah.
But in this case, what happens, it really doesn't matter, right? Because even if you did nothing wrong or you did everything wrong, your only recourse for having your account suspended is contacting Warner Brothers, and maybe what we'll do is include a link in the description for contacting support.
Yeah.
Because one of the big problems as the support, not, you know, like problem solving, troubleshooting support, but the support for the game, where it's seemed clear to me that right now, whether it's going to come back or not, right now, for now, they're not spending nearly as many man hours adding new content, right? So as that declines, it's going to take longer for all the accounts to be reviewed and unbanned, you know, one at a time. I doubt they're going to be able to do it automatically and say, here, everybody just get unbanned, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe what's the most instructive was, it must have been a couple of years ago. I'm thinking 2-3 years ago. First challenge with Red Sun Green Lantern. It was running on iOS, and the Android update dropped really late. So we totally missed the Red Sun Green Lantern challenge. And it took them, so they were, what was happening was they were banning everybody who was taking Red Sun Green Lantern in online play, because it seemed like they forgot to take him off the sort of auto ban list. Yeah. And it was triggering every time somebody was doing bringing him online, even though he was legitimately in their accounts. And
because there's definitely no way that that's a manual ban.
Right, exactly.
Nobody was asking for all these people to get banned.
On that scale.
Yeah.
And it took them 1 to 2 weeks to unsuspend the accounts. And this was when it was completely their fault. There was nothing early. This was, the challenge had started. People were getting the characters, and then they were just getting banned as soon as they took them online.
Yeah.
So if you don't do any cheats, you don't do any glitches, you don't do any hacks, maybe it matters a little bit because it gives you a better chance of having the suspension lifted.
Yeah.
But even that's no guarantee, right? And ultimately, you still need to contact support. That's what you need to do to have a chance of something happening. So I should say at this point, we don't really know what criteria they're using to decide when to unsuspend an account. So let's hope they're using the right ones. And let's hope that they realize that some people did get the totem early without breaching that. What do they say? They say breach the terms of service.
Yeah.
So let's hope that they recognize that this is happening without somebody doing anything wrong.
Yeah, it unintentionally or intentionally, there's nobody's actually working outside the game to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, all right. So here's the thing: when we were just talking about this, makes me think of I had a few sort of aha moments, right? Where I don't know what took me so long to realize what was happening, and I started talking about some of these in one of our Patreon posts, but I wanted to expand on this a bit here too, right? So what I've been seeing is that some complaints online that people feel like it's really unfair that some people are not getting banned for having Tantu Totem early because you're still seeing them in multiplayer online, and you're still having to fight them, right? Mm-hmm. And what occurred to me is, I think they are actually getting banned because suspending access to online play, so where you log in and it tells you your account suspended, it's almost certainly a different process than removing the stats of your team and the whole setup from that online pool that Matchmaker picks for a defensive team.
Yeah, and unless the ban is like literally instant, they could have it in online play and have that as a member of their team, have the gear on them.
Right.
And have that still in the position, even if they're going to get banned, and even if for some reason that did remove it right away. Right. There's no reason that in the meantime it would not still be up.
Right. And then, they do a sort of cleanup job at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually probably likely that the counts that you're seeing have been banned unless, well, not even unless, because sometimes you can duplicate an account, but there's a good chance that they're banned and they just bring them back another season, right?
Yeah.
And, all right, so here's another thought. And again, it just occurs to me now because we're talking about the glitch to get your season rewards early. All those times people were complaining that they didn't get the reward at the end of multiplayer season. I mean, here's the thing. Chances are this glitch has been part of the game for a while now, right? It's not like it just magically appeared. It's just that now we're discovering and sort of publicizing it.
Yeah.
When you get the reward really early, it can almost seem as if it's for a previous season. So this is one of those examples where people see something, it doesn't register properly, right? And by the time the next season comes around and they don't get the reward, maybe they forgot about it.
Yeah.
So part of me wonders if it's a result of this that we're only recognizing now that was the source for all those complaints that didn't get the reward, right?
It's possible, yeah.
Okay, and here's another thought. Remember that first glitch when multiplayer first came out and we could glitch the rewards over and over again? Like you get it unlimited number of times?
Yeah.
I wonder if the reason why we're facing this glitch right now where you can get it early is a result of that, and they were trying to fix the code to try to keep people from being able to repeatedly get the reward.
That's possible. That might be why when you get it once, it removes you basically from the pool for getting it later in the season. That particular kind of not being able to duplicate it.
Yeah.
Not being able to get it multiple times.
Yeah, so it's interesting now having a longer term perspective, right? Because we've been playing this game now for what? 4 years?
Yeah, a long time.
We discover things and we're still learning things about the game, and it's giving us a new perspective on what was happening before. So it's like when you read The Fall of Hyperion and you realize, oh, wait a minute, so this is what was happening in Hyperion.
Yeah, that's probably not a super accessible reference for this mobile game.
All right, so maybe we'll use another example from here, because now I'm thinking about it. Remember the glitch where you could buy a pack multiple times? Yeah. By just tapping on it really fast and when your credit total is reduced to nothing, you're just spending no money and getting lots of packs.
The first crazy credit glitch.
Right, that was the one that put us over the top.
Yeah.
But that explained why people who were obviously cheating big, who had ridiculously high credit totals, would have multiple copies of characters in their roster because they'd been using this glitch. They'd been cashing out a bunch, but they didn't cash out all of them. So it all comes together. Like we're seeing, ultimately, you see all the clues for all the glitches that were there that we weren't necessarily able to take advantage of because we didn't know how it was happening.
Yeah. So there we go. Looks like we've got a couple fights left.
Yeah, we've got so not bad. We got to just recharge after this one. So yeah, it's interesting because part of I think what our added value is when we do these glitches, right? Is sometimes recognizing what the consequences can be, because with this particular getting your early rewards, there are real consequences, right? There are a lot of people getting banned.
Yeah, because I think when you use a glitch without understanding the risks, you open yourself up to a lot of room for really the worst possible thing happening, which is you getting banned. And to us, getting banned means not really being able to play anymore, because the online is...
That really is the game,
that matters,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it's funny to look back on it at a time when the game had only offline play.
Yeah. Before 2.0.
Yeah, and it was still pretty reasonably popular.
Yeah.
It was still a lot of fun to play. I think we did actually have a few videos before that, just for resetting the challenge.
Yeah, it would be interesting to go back to those videos, because I know things also looked different. Like the
It sounded
layout,
different.
right? Because I remember in 2.0, wasn't that when they added like the card backs that had all like the extra information on them?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
They really
so
did
before
reformat
that,
stuff.
because that was when they added gear.
Yep.
And a ton of other stuff. Going back and seeing how it looks, because I'm so used to it now, would actually be a trip, huh?
Yeah, it's funny having nostalgia for something a few years ago.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we'll talk about the Flashpoint team a little bit, and just the strategy that now that we've been using Lane's setup a little bit longer. So the beauty of it is when you've got somebody with a couple bars of power, I don't have to think twice about what should I try to sneak in a few attacks with Flashpoint Batman. Should I bring in my tank, or should I try to drain him with Deathstroke? Because now my tank is Deathstroke. I don't drain, but then I can usually get a few sort of a tap combo and a half, and only do the combo ender on the second set, meaning I can have 2 bars of power. And it might be easier to point out with the next fight. So the key is, if I bring in Deathstroke, I don't want to do a combo ender on the first combo, because at the end of it, my invulnerability is going to be over. I want to come in, do the tap, ignore the combo ender, and then let him come at me again. Whoever is up against me, come at me again. So I do another combo with a tap combo with a combo ender, and then in the middle of it, I lose my invulnerability, but I finish, and then at the end of it, I have, if not 2 bars, so close it doesn't matter that the time it takes to do a special, I get the second bar.
Yeah.
So in this case, the Deathstroke's going to be the most useful, bringing him in first, simply because Raven, I want to be in the middle of my special when she tags in, so she doesn't drain me of my power.
Yeah.
Oh. And naturally, there's no combo ender, so I don't have to take it. But now I take it, and I've already lost my invulnerability. Perfect. 2 bars.
There we go.
And I know Lane had said that his preference was to use Flashpoint Batman for the main damage dealer, and I'm taking a different approach, because with League of Assassins Knives, because of the 50% splash damage, the best time to use it is always when there's 2 other members on the bench, which means that I'm doing 50% damage on each of the guys. So basically, for the value of the special, I'm doubling the net damage that I'm doing.
And it really does make a difference when you see somebody come in with that like sliver of health. That does actually feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Although technically it's not quite double, because for every second that they spend out, they're healing a little bit back.
Right.
Which they would not have taken otherwise.
Okay. Oh, I finished watching Altered Carbon on Netflix.
How'd you like it?
All right, so there's certain things I liked about it. I liked the aesthetic. I liked the style. It was very much that cyberpunk noir kind of show. I felt the ending really did not land. It ended up being a different kind of show at the end of it. It started off in one direction. Obviously it had to deviate from the story a little bit, and it took some liberties of the whole idea of the envoy. But I think if the ending had been a little bit stronger, I wouldn't have been as disappointed as was. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it yet.
Production values are spectacular. I mean, for a TV show to do that kind of science fiction it's pretty cool, right? It's a whole new world we're living in, where the production values are just so good. But interesting. But if you had to pick between watching it or reading it, I'd say definitely worth reading. Oh, and you saw Black Panther.
I did. Black Panther was really good. It was an enjoyable watch.
What did you like about it?
I think it did a lot of really, really cool stuff. with the villain and with just everything. I think it was really like it was a movie that did really well with diversity, right? Hiring a lot of black actors. But it did not, to me, suffer for a single second because of any choice they made. It never felt like they were shoehorned in. It felt really, really appropriate to the theme and to the setting, and I think it made the movie richer because of the diversity and not worse.
Did you see The Wire? Have you ever seen the show The Wire?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I think you're talking about villain. I think that's Killmonger, right?
Yeah.
He was Wallace in The Wire, but like way younger and almost unrecognizable for how much he's changed.
But yeah, I think it was a really enjoyable movie. My issue is that I have not seen all the other most recent Marvel movies. I have heard multiple people say that they liked it a lot, but they did not like it as much as Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
I've heard literally, I think at least 2 different people say I liked it a lot. It was one of my favorite new Marvel movies. I did not like it as much as Thor Ragnarok, which sucks because I haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, so I can't actually comment on that. But it was enjoyable in a lot of ways that I think almost every Marvel movie is, and it did some kind of interesting stuff, some stuff that's a little riskier maybe than I think I remember feeling about other Marvel movies, and I think a lot of them paid off. I think most of them paid off.
Ooh, I think Movies with Mikey has a new video talking about how Marvel makes the shared universe story work, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, Movies with Mikey doing a lot of interesting stuff, like just really smart, thoughtful stuff, and part of me wants to watch the thing he did on Wonder Woman, but I still gotta watch that. I feel almost embarrassed that I still haven't seen Wonder Woman yet.
Yeah, considering our channel.
Yeah, and I've heard so many good things about it too.
I've heard a lot of good things about Wonder Woman, also have not seen it.
Ooh, I thought she was gonna be done. She's gonna be done now. Okay, that was the fight. All right, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and bearing with us.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Oh, forgot to say, thank you to our Patreon supporters who continue to support us and help sponsor these videos and help us make these videos.
Yeah.
To Alberto Jr. Camarillo, Lane, and Laszlo.
So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.